Hey Karen.
Hello. Did it go through? Okay, good.
Caroline, Carrie, hello. I'm glad you guys
Hi.
found the right link.
It is too. Hi guys, how are you?
Good. How are all of you?
Hello, iPhone. Hello, Carrie Dimmick.
If you guys
Okay.
Hi, Patty. If you guys put the cameras, it will be easier because that way we're actually talking to people and not just to names. You agree?
Hmm.
Okay.
Hello, Mike. Hello, Kristen.
Hi.
Hey,
All right.
News a tree has fallen onto a home in Southbridge. That's where we find Boston 25 News reporter Daniel.
Oh, someone is listening to the news.
All right. Well, let's give it another minute or two before we start it up.
Drive Southbridge home. Now, if you take a look right behind me, you can see that what appears to be a rotted out tree has collapsed on.
Oops.
Hello,
Hello.
can you hear me?
Who's speaking?
Oh, sorry, this is Cheryl.
Oh, hey,
Hi, Cheryl.
Cheryl.
So my video must not be on my camera. Uh,
We can see
What's
you,
up,
yeah.
on?
can,
Pam, hello.
All right.
All right, cool guys. Thanks for joining us. I know it's super nice outside, so we're um we're gonna start off with just a quick check-in. If you guys could, there's a little chat that you can click on to share one thing that's gone well so far since starting the Memorial Day meltdown. Or you can unmute yourself and say that too. That works as well.
unmuted. All right, there we go. I'm thinking way more about what I'm eating. I'll tell you that much.
Cool. You just like more aware in the moment.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Perfect. That's gonna lead into our
Yep.
first story really well.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
And Kristen says consistency in working out. So being in the challenge is keeping you more accountable to your workouts, right?
On to 4 times a week.
Wow.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I agree with both those. It really has helped a lot with focusing, especially the just consistency with the extra workouts.
Awesome. And
More
Karen is
walking.
doing more walking.
I was gonna add too that I've been doing more consistent with my workouts and more accountability and even added in a weight training. Unfortunately, I broke my finger, so I
Oh,
got slowed down. So, but
it's all right. We can work with broken fingers. We just need the rest of the fingers to get a good workout in. But that's awesome that just being part of the challenge is keeping you guys more accountable and just more dialed in and yeah, just more focused on your goals, which is
Yeah.
cool.
Seems like everybody's getting a little bit more consistent with their exercise and some awareness, and that's cool. Okay, so 4 years ago, guys, me and Maria ended a long day and got into the bedroom and shut off the light and laid down. And Maria turned to me and she was like, I ate really good today. Like she was super proud of herself. And I was like, all right, like tell me what you ate today. So she goes through the list. She's like, breakfast, I had Ezekiel toast, I had avocado, I had eggs. I was like, okay. And then for lunch, I believe she had like chicken, she had a vegetable, and she had some wild rice with the fiber. And for dinner, she had salmon, she had broccoli, and then some other carb thing,
Like sweet potato or
sweet
something like that.
potato. So it was just like a good clean day. And then I put on my, like annoying husband voice, and I was like, yeah, but what about like the couple handfuls of chips I saw you eat right before lunch? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, well, what about the two Lindt chocolate balls I saw you have after lunch? She was like starting to squirm and she was like, yeah, yeah, all right. And then after like the third thing was like she had a handful of cashews like an hour or two before dinner. And the thing was like, Maria's a business owner. She has a gym. She's in the fitness space. She's super organized. But even at the end of the day, when she's kind of like counting back everything that she ate, she's forgetting like, it's like 300 calories or more of stuff, which it just goes to show like she struggles with remembering what she eats. I I'm the same way. Like if I don't keep mental tabs of what I'm eating and like write it down, I forget what I'm eating. And just talking with like, all of you guys over the past few years, like we've seen that happen with a lot of the members, like people getting frustrated, like I'm doing everything right. Why aren't I losing weight? Or like fill in the blank. So one of the main reasons the first email in this challenge was about the food journal. One of the reasons that we always tell you guys about the food journals is because it really helps you become more aware of what you're eating. Like what Mike was saying, like that's such a big win because you can't really know what you need to change until you know what's like what you're doing.
Right.
So, if you haven't already done a food journal, it's just 3 days of the week where you don't have to count calories. You don't have to get super crazy with it because a lot of us don't have the bandwidth or super busy to just like type everything into an app. What you do is you just write down what a normal day is for you as you're doing it, right? So in the breakfast, when you eat, you write down, I had a handful of nuts, I had some eggs, I had a protein shake. And then for lunch, you go and do the same thing. And as you're eating, you're recording it. You're not waiting till the end of the day because just like Maria's story, it's really hard to remember. And so this will do a couple cool things. So for instance, this is going to help you know, like, hey, these are the things that may be stopping me from getting my goals, right? Maybe you don't know what's stopping you from getting your goals, but now it's also giving you something to bring us so we can help meet you where you're at. Because I think like one of the big things with nutrition is it's super overwhelming to a lot of people where you go online and you read about it and it's like this is the perfect amount of this to eat and like you shouldn't be eating any of this and it's like you'd have to throw away your entire diet to fit into a
Mhm.
lot of these plans. So this way you can bring it if not on your own, you can bring it to us and we can show you, hey, like here's the one thing you can do that'll keep you sane and like enjoying your diet, but is going to make a big difference in the long run. So that's the first thing. And the second big thing,
So here you guys have this is the food 3-day food journal that we always give you when you want to do this. And it's very simple. It just has the breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then the snacks. And you just add the times, the food, and the approximate amount. So it doesn't mean that you have to weigh every single thing you eat. But if you have a handful of cashews, that's what you put here. You don't have to weigh the cashews and know that you ate 75 grams of them. So keeping it very simple, but having the structure that tells you more or less what you are eating. So then either you realize what you are overeating or we can help you, like he said.
yeah, and you can put this in a notes app, you can write it in a notebook, however you want. But the big thing too is like a lot of us, we're snackers. Like we're busy. We have like tons of things to do. You guys, a lot of you have kids, and you're just whether you're hungry or you're stressed, you go and grab something. When you're writing it down, like as you go and do it, it gives you a little bit of space in between that feeling of like stress or like kind of hunger, and you going and just running to the cabinet and grabbing whatever you want. So you can like make a little bit better of an informed decision of do I actually want this thing? Maybe you're not actually hungry, or maybe you want to choose something that's a little healthier. So next up, so we talked about, what gets measured, what gets measured gets managed. Going along those lines, we always talk about protein, adding protein to your diet. And one of the big reasons, well, first, protein's really good for everything, as you guys know. It builds muscle, it helps you recover. And interesting fact is if you don't eat protein, like you don't have any in your diet, like you'll die. Like it's crazy. Like you need protein to live. And most of us, we're doing pretty good. Like we've got that covered. But it's the hitting our protein goal to help us really thrive is where a lot of people fall short.
So there's three macronutrients: protein, fats, and carbs. And like he says, is the only macronutrient that if we don't eat it, we die. So it's at that level of important, especially for women in our 40s. Not me yet, but you guys understood that.
Yes. So, one of the reasons, like we'll tell you guys to add protein, that's like a thing we'll start with. If you don't bring us the food journals and we can't see, from our experience, most people aren't eating enough protein. And one of the main things that happens when you aren't eating enough protein is you go and you get calories from somewhere else. So protein keeps you really full. We have these little sensors in our stomachs. This is kind of interesting. Maybe it's interesting for me. I'm like a fitness nerd. But like we have sensors in our stomachs that are always looking for amino acids, right? And if we don't, a protein and amino acid are like the same thing, right? So they're always looking for proteins. So if you're eating a lot of food, you're getting a lot of fuel, and you're not getting enough protein, your stomach is still going to be like, hey, I'm hungry. Like, keep feeding me because I want to eventually get enough protein in here. So when you give your body protein, it's going to help you turn off like the hunger signal in your brain. So you don't want to reach and go and grab and snack as much. So like right there, it's you're not taking away anything out of your diet. We're not asking you to take away any of the foods you love to try to stop snacking when things are crazy. It's more just like, hey, if you add this one thing, everything else will get a little bit easier. So psychologically, I think it's a really helpful thing to know when you're doing a diet.
And then there's another huge part of protein, which is it has a thermogenic effect, which means that for us or for our bodies to digest protein, it's going to burn way more calories than or way more energy than it burns when we eat fats or carbs. So if you are eating, for example, a steak, and to make easy numbers, the steak is 100 calories, your body is actually just gonna take around 70 to 80 calories because 20 to 30 calories were burned through or during that digestion. When you eat a handful of goldfish, for example, crackers, and those are the same amount of calories, 100 to make it easy, your body will take those 100 calories because, or it will take 95 calories because it only burns 5 calories in the digestion. So protein is huge in that sense as well, that it will help us burn more to just digest it. So it will take longer to digest, so it keeps you satiated for a longer time, and it has all the other benefits that Bobby was saying.
Yeah. Yeah. So like the next question would be, how much protein am I supposed to eat? And this is kind of like tricky. It gets back to meeting you where you're at. So the general guidelines are for say you want to be 150 pounds. Don't go by the amount of weight you are. Say you want to be 150 pounds. You'd want 0.7 to 1 gram of protein per pound of desired body weight. So desired body weight's 150, you'd probably want 120 to 150 grams of protein ideally, right? But if you did your food journal and you're not getting a lot of protein, say you're at 50 grams of protein a day, going up to 120 to 150,
It's gonna feel hard.
that might be kind of hard. Like you might be a little overwhelmed. And even if you go and you're like, we're like kind of all in people sometimes. It's like, oh, like, yeah, we want to do the 120 to 150. That's totally something we would do. And then you go and do it and you burn yourself out a little bit. And it's easy to end up taking a step back. So instead of doing that, we suggest just add a little bit of protein to your day. And that would be best way to do that is you want protein at breakfast, you want protein at lunch, you want protein at dinner. So when you're covering your bases in your head, just think, do I have a main source of protein right now in the morning, at lunch, and at dinner? If you're doing pretty good with all those things, odds are you're pretty close to your goal anyways. And then from there, we would add like, a snack, a protein snack. So a good example is like a protein shake. And you guys know we have the protein shakes at the gym. One of the reasons that we like advocate for that is because, again, a lot of you are busy. Instead of being like, hey, you need to go and cook a meal, and maybe like that's not something that's just like easily accessible for you to do. You just throw a protein packet into your water, shake it up, and you just added 20 grams of protein in your day. So super easy way to just get it in general is a protein shake.
Yeah, or boil eggs, or a cup of 0% Greek yogurt or cottage cheese. Like there's a bunch of varied foods that you can still get in your diet that if you're at home, you might prefer to have a boiled egg instead of a shaker, but protein shake. But if you are not eating extra protein just because you don't want to add work to your day and cook more, the protein shake is perfect. And for you guys, because you came to this call, if you type your favorite flavor, you get 10% off your next protein. So if you guys are low or you haven't tried the protein yet, put there your favorite flavor. We have vanilla, chocolate, and cinnamon bun, and then you'll get your next bottle with 10% off.
All of the coaches, me and Maria included, cinnamon bun seems to be
Yes.
the favorite.
That's the team favorite.
What
Um,
type of, sorry to interrupt, what type of protein powder is it?
It's whey protein. So it's FDA approved, it's filtered for micrometals, and it has very few ingredients, like 5 ingredients. So it's super clean. And one scoop has 22 grams of protein, which is like a chicken breast. So it's very clean. It mixes very well with just water. And I think it's 110 calories per scoop. So it's like almost nothing. It's like the best snack.
Is it a brand though?
It's our brand.
Oh,
The
it's
Big
your
Day brand.
brand. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so going from there, we wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about the calorie density trap. So there's, as Maria was saying, there's 3 macronutrients. We have fats, we have carbs, and we have protein. Interesting is they're some of them are more dense in energy than others. So carbs, for every gram of carb, that's 4 calories.
And to make this clear, energy is the same than calories. So energy and calories are the same
Good
for you
call.
guys to understand.
1 gram of protein, 4 calories. 1 gram of carbs, 4 calories. And then 1 gram of fat is 9 calories, which is, if that's something you weren't aware of before, it's something you're going to be noticing like everywhere now. So just think, if I had a tablespoon of olive oil, right? Like just imagine what a tablespoon looks like in your head, fill it with olive oil. And now I want you to take a bag of popcorn you just cooked, or you just popped all the kernels, it's full. And now grab a 1 cup, a measuring cup, and I want you to go into your popcorn and scoop out a cup, put it in a bowl. Go out, scoop out a cup, put it in a bowl. Do that 2 more times, so you've scooped out 4 cups. Now, if you look at the popcorn and you look at the tablespoon of oil, they do not look anywhere near the same in like volume, and they have the same exact amount of calories in them. Like,
Yep.
so that's one of the reasons. Well, we do, a lot of fitness health advocates do advocate for not having processed food, is because processed foods do a really, really good job of hiding the amount of fat they have in them. Like you just don't notice. And you would think, oh, this is like only like a couple hundred calories. But it really is a lot more because usually they have so much fat in them. So, um, yeah, like if I would now, like whenever you guys are eating anything, just go and look on the back and see how much fat it has in it, and just realize that you're not going to be satiated from that because it's just so heavy and dense.
And it's small.
Think the olive oil versus the popcorn. You want foods that fill you up, not foods that are, they just kind of sit in your stomach and they add a bunch of energy that you're now going to have to go and burn off.
So to give you guys a real life example, you guys have, the majority of you have either small kids or they're already older, but you have gone through this. You know those mini pizza bites that kids love?
Bagel bites.
Or bagel bites.
Oh, yeah.
You can have 1 or 2 of those with as your meal side because your kids love it. And you're gonna have 1 or 2 of those, which is already kind of like a meal, calorie-wise speaking. Or you can have a whole bowl of broccoli and stuff yourself with broccoli for half of the calories of those 2 bagel bites. So at the end of the day, it's your choice to decide if you want to eat more volume and satisfy yourself more with real food, or eat a little amount for the same amount of calories and then go around your life hungry because you're still trying to lose weight or not overeat. So you're limiting yourself the amount of food that you're eating versus eating as much as you want of real food and satiating yourself. So at the end of the day, it's a choice that you can make. As long as you are eating within your range of calories, it's calories in, calories out, but you choose how you bring those calories in.
Another thing, we're talking about protein, and it's proteins come in lean and they come fatty, right? So a lot of people do a really good job with hitting their protein. They get, however, 150 to 200 grams a day, but they're getting it from very fatty sources, right? So if you have a ribeye steak, you're going to get a lot of protein in, but think about how much fat is in a ribeye steak. 9 calories a gram of fat, that adds up. That's going to be a ton of calories on top of it. So if you're doing a good job with your protein intake, but you've noticed maybe the weight's not coming up as much, that's something to think of. So we added here, you can see all of the different lean protein sources.
So this page, you guys got it in the uh, Memorial Day Challenge guide. This is one of the pages, so you all have it. And here, like he's saying, you have all the different protein sources, and these are the leaner ones. So every time you go to the groceries, try to find, if you're going for turkey, prioritize turkey breast or lean ground beef or fish that has less fat than others. For example, salmon is more fatty than if you get swordfish. Or if you eat the chicken, everybody loves chicken, try to prioritize chicken breast instead of chicken wings or chicken thighs. So every single protein has their different levels of leaner parts within the animal or the fish or whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah. And with all this being said, you guys probably know like in the 90s, low fat was a big thing. They're saying don't eat any fat. And that's not what we're trying to say here. We just want you guys to know it's something to be cautious of because they sneak fat into everything. If you go out to a restaurant, one of the reasons things always taste amazing is because everything has a lot of butter in it, a lot of olive oil. So just realizing that, everything has a little bit more calories in it at restaurants because that's how they make their living. They have good, tasty food that you want to eat. Um,
So just to make this a little bit more actionable, now you guys can see the list of proteins in the screen. I want you to write down 3 of them. So take a minute to go over all of them, figure out which ones are your favorite or your family's favorite, and write down 3 that you can incorporate or prioritize in your diets for the meals going forward. So if you eat a lot of, for example, the chicken thighs, can you change that for chicken breast? So go ahead and write down the 3 protein sources that you would like to make the swap to.
Yeah, so there's so much that we could talk about. Like this nutrition is such a rabbit hole where there's a lot you can go over, and some of it's simple, some of it's complicated. But really, what we wanted to get across today was these main things, and just for you to know that it doesn't need to be a complete overhaul. You want to be thinking, what's the lowest hanging fruit, right? Like what's the best bang for your buck going to be? What can you do with the least amount of effort that is going to get you the greatest result? So if for you that could be adding protein, it could be doing the journal, building the awareness. It could be cutting out the processed foods. It could be just, looking at how much fat you're eating. Um, and for everyone, that's going to be a little bit different. And if you guys need us, we're here to help you. But we just want you to take the next 2 minutes or so and write down, the one thing that you're going to be able to take away from this call and apply it to, the rest of the challenge. And if you need help with that, just you can ask us and we can
Yeah, we
help
can
you
follow
workshop it right here.
I had a question about that, if I can go ahead and ask it.
Yeah.
I'm like torn with the diet stuff because on the carbs seem to really be hard for my body because I'm pre-diabetic. So I've been able to control my blood sugar, and I've seemed to do the best by doing like a higher fat, higher protein diet. And I don't know if like I should be, but then when I met with the nutritionist, they're like, you need to put more carbs in your diet. You could add some more. But as soon as I do that, it's like I don't see any progress in terms of losing weight. In fact, I mean, and I've seen recomposition in terms of my body because when I weigh myself, I'm almost the same weight. But I noticed that the shape of my body has changed, like the measurement and stuff. But I don't see like this any movement on the scale. And I know that some of it, you won't see for a while, but I also don't want to cut too far down with calories because I feel like I'm doing like I think probably somewhere around 16,000, but I'm also very active usually, so I don't want to go too far like with
Was
it. So I don't
the
know.
recomposition going in the right way or
Yeah.
the way you don't want
It's
it to
the
go?
right way, but the in terms of the progress, it's very slow, but also my weight isn't going down. The reason I'm concerned with the weight is just because every time I go to appointment, if I go, they're like, "Oh, you're overweight,"
Yeah.
because I'm barely with the way that with their metrics or whatever on the scale. I'm barely, my BMI is slightly over, but
So I can see why this is a concern, especially like being a woman, and we are more aware about all these things. And I think one piece of information that is super, super important that some people don't even know is that muscle always weighs more than fat. So if you are increasing your muscle volume and you are reducing the fat, you might still weigh the same because your body is shifting fat for muscle and that weighs more. So the fact that your body is changing when it comes to composition, like your clothes fit better, you feel leaner, you feel more toned, that means that you are increasing muscle, and the more muscle you have, the more fat you will be burning. So when it comes to weight, I do prefer to see a weight that is stable and it doesn't change, but your body composition is changing because the more muscle you have, the more a better signal of good health you have, and especially for you being pre-diabetic, the more muscle you have, the more your muscles are going to be able to take that insulin and use it as energy. So I wouldn't be concerned about that. You were saying that it's like going down slow, and that's exactly what you want to happen, having a slow progress and just keep building muscle, increasing your protein, and doing your workouts. And then when it comes to carbs, if a nutritionist is telling you to eat carbs, maybe you just need to find the right carbs for you. Maybe rice is not great, but sweet potatoes are awesome. So I think it's a process of learning what are the right carbs for your body. And then with the high protein, you don't have to also do high fat. You can just do high protein and a little bit of carbs and play around with the carbs and leave the fat on the side because that it's true that it really works for some people, but what he was saying before, for every gram of fat is 9 calories, so you're going to be able to eat way less for the same amount of calories. So maybe you can play around with that, keep the high protein, lower the fat, and then try to figure out which carbs are good for your body because everybody's different.
And the last thing I wanted to ask advice about is how to kind of make it exciting to add the protein because I've been really focusing on adding it based on the in-body result. And it's sometimes I'm just like, oh, I can't think of what to do. So today I'm doing like a Greek yogurt or I'm doing a lot of protein powder because of like, I get bored of like trying to come up with stuff. We do have fish and stuff and I have tuna fish and stuff like that. But I can't always like get to the store to buy fresh fish and cook
Mhm.
it
Do
and
you have
sometimes I'll do turkey, but
do you have access to the VIP page on the Facebook group, or do you receive the emails every Friday?
yeah, I have some access. Yeah. Hmm.
So for the past 6 years, we have been sending a recipe every single Friday, and some of them are like vegan or just like sites, but the majority of them have protein sources. So just go through; they're all in the Facebook page. Just go look for recipe, and then you have the whole list of all of them, and you can the majority of them are really good for meal prepping, so you can cook them on Sunday for the rest of the week. So that
Oh,
gives you a lot
great.
of flexibility.
We'll tag you in a couple of them, Caroline.
Yeah.
We have 10 minutes left because Zoom is going to kick us off. Cheryl, you have your hand raised. What's happening?
Oh, hi guys. Oh, first of all, thank you so much. This is great. This is really great information. And some of those nuggets that you gave us are going to really stick. I'm going to be thinking about it. So thank you. It's super helpful.
That's awesome.
So I have two questions. One is, what are your thoughts about honey, like a teaspoon of local honey a day? And then number two, the second question is, what are your thoughts about like the consistency of the same food every day? Does your body like want you to mix it up? So for example, if you have oatmeal every day for breakfast, does your body say, "No, okay, I'm gonna plateau you here," or how does that all work?
I think to the second question, I don't think your body responds differently to the same things over and over. I think like a lot of times the people that have the most consistency with like their body weight typically eat the same things on a more regular basis. And
Okay.
now that's not to say that you can't, have fun and eat other foods, but typically like, your breakfast will have like the same sort of format every day. As soon as you start to eat at different times, you eat different foods every day. Like your brain loves novelty. It's like hitting all the buttons in your brain to have different
Yes.
foods and
Oh,
like fireworks going off. So like perfect example is you go out to eat and you have a lot of food and you're stuffed to the brim, and then someone's like, "Yeah, but what about ice cream?" And then all of a sudden you're like, "Ooh, like I could do ice cream actually. I'm not that full."
Yeah.
Um, the more variety you have in your diet day to day to day, the more likely you're going to end up
Overeating.
overeating, and then the harder it is to figure out like if you're eating the right stuff. So
mhm.
generally to have staples that work in your diet, like if oatmeal works for you, Cheryl, and you like it and it agrees with you, and you're finding ways to hit your protein, you don't overeat it, like stick with that. And to the honey, I think like it all depends. It depends on what the rest of your diet looks like, but one tea or tablespoon of honey, I don't think is a what's the word? Not a game changer, a deal breaker. Like
Yeah.
that's totally fine. It's all everything in moderation. Are you having that with your oatmeal?
I am actually, and it's I have a family member who has their own bees and all that, and so I like to incorporate it, but I only do like a very small teaspoon. That's all you need really for the flavor.
Exactly. If you said, "Oh, I put a big chunk of honey on top of my chocolate chip cookies," we're gonna say
Oh, yeah.
probably not. But if that's
That'd be wild.
but if you're just having a teaspoon of natural honey, raw honey every day, I think you probably are getting more of the benefits and you enjoy yourself. That's the point.
Yeah. Thank you.
Of
Yeah,
course.
thank you.
Did you guys do you have time to write down your one action step or the one thing you're gonna take from this? I'm gonna call out Rob.
Ooh.
Well, sorry, I came in a little bit late after a meeting. Apologies,
Okay.
but a takeaway would be to kind of focus on lean proteins like you have on the list there. Mary and I are trying to, you know, we had dialed back proteins and things for a while and focused on vegetables, which are also carbs, I guess.
Exactly.
But are reintroducing proteins as they kind of, my understanding is they keep you full longer. Slower to digest and therefore keep you full. So we're having some chicken breast tonight and some fish tomorrow night, and yeah, that's my takeaway.
Nice.
How do you cook the chicken breast?
Tonight, I'm gonna get a little naughty. Pound it flat and lightly dust it in some flour and saute it in as little olive oil as possible. But,
Yeah. Cool.
might also yeah, a little bit naughty. I have a little bit of prosciutto and some sage in the garden. That's going to be the dinner.
Oh, you're getting crazy with it.
Yeah, but it'll be on a bed of sautéed spinach, so it'll be good.
Yeah, it's like measured madness, right? Like it's like you have
Measured madness. I like it. Also portion control. I find is a huge thing. And what's worked for us, quite honestly, is rather than, we have two girls who have relatively recently left the nest. We used to kind of put a family style bowl or a plate in the middle of the table, and we would pick from that. It would be easy to go back for seconds or thirds or so.
Right.
But just kind of serving a plate and having that plate kind of controlling the portion is another thing we're focused on.
I think that's huge. Just
Well,
giving
it's much
yourself,
smaller than it used to be, so it's
yes, making the plates smaller, you can still fill out your plate, so you have that same sense of accomplishment, like, oh, I'm gonna have a great big meal, but the plate size is smaller. So by just that, you are eating less, which means that you are eating less calories and you don't overeat, so you don't go back to bed or back to work bloated and
Right.
and feeling heavy, but
Yep.
more so feeling just enough satiated.
Yeah. And I will actually echo what Carolyn had said, because I too am finding that the scale is kind of not budging, but reshaping things. A lot more muscle mass, a lot leaner, a lot stronger. I'm finding. So I'm hoping that the all that results in eventual sort of progress on the old scale. But
Yeah, I mean, you guys are here, you're in the right path, you are doing the right things, you care about it, which is the biggest the
Right.
biggest thing. And now you have the motivation of the challenge. You especially have Mary because you're both in the same boat. So you can keep
Right.
each other accountable. And that's all it is. It's just trying to enjoy life, but just doing a little better choices, making a little better choices every day.
Yep. And I have to say that also the community that you guys have developed is fabulous. Echoing comments earlier, it's good to have accountability besides, within the four walls of your noggin.
Yes.
If you're asking me, hey, how's it going? Like, okay, fine. I slipped last week, but I'll get back on it this week.
the old good old fashioned guilt from your coach.
Right,
Disguised
exactly.
as a-
Exactly.
It worked.
Yeah.
Does.
All right, you guys have any other questions before we get kicked out in 90 seconds or 2 minutes?
Any buzzer beaters?
Yeah, I got one.
Yeah.
Oh. All right, so I'm going through the list of stuff. And I scroll down and I see you put down chicken salad. Now my chicken salad is chicken with a ton of mayonnaise. What's your chicken salad?
I'm glad you bring that up.
Yes.
So what's your question?
What is your definition of chicken salad? Because my chicken salad is chicken with a ton of mayonnaise. So what is your chicken salad? Like day
Okay.
one, 1,500 calories.
Yeah, so that's a great question. So my preferable dressings are always vinegar, lemon juice, and a little bit of olive oil, so like 1 tablespoon for the whole salad, and just mixing all very well with salt.
Okay.
Or you can make your own dressing that is gonna be kind of like mayo, but like it's gonna have that creaminess, but it's not as high fat like mayo. So for example, making dressings with 0% Greek yogurt or cottage cheese and blending that and adding some spices around with a little bit of olive oil, that makes a huge difference. You still get that good feeling of, oh, this is creamy, this is like thick, but you are adding extra protein just with your dressing, avoiding all those extra calories from the fats.
From the mayo. Okay. All right, cool.
Yeah.
You just
and
need-
Grace and I are about
extra
to-
protein in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Grace and I are about to go grocery shopping. That's why I was trying to print out the list. And I'm like, okay, let me look at all this stuff and see what's going
I'll
on.
make
here.
I'll actually, thank you for the idea. I'll make a post somewhere about different type of dressings for salads that are not mayo.
Perfect. Perfect.
Well, thank you so much everybody for coming. We hope that this was helpful and that you go home with a big takeaway, and we'll see you at the gym before this one.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Thanks
you,
for
guys.
coming,
Sounds
guys.
good.
Thank you so
Right.
much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Bye everybody.
Bye now.
Great job, guys. Thank you so much.
Patty,
Thank you.
by the way, honey and Himalayan salt with water in the AM. Sam says he does that and he feels amazing when he does it. I'll tag you in his his Facebook post.
Said that. Thank you. Great job.